What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Kosher Nostra back at you guys with another sneaker review, unboxing, and of course that on feet, guys. Let's jump right into another one. There you have the box, guys. This is by far the most unique box that we have reviewed on the channel. I was actually super stoked to get this pair. They really just about went all out on this box, guys. They did a really good job on the box itself. I like how they were able to display the shoes in the box. However, it's just this sort of cheap plastic wire that actually holds the shoe in place. When I got these, I opened up the shipping box and the shoes had clearly busted out of the wires. It doesn't really seem like there's really a whole lot to the wires other than they're just kind of slipped through these holes in the back of the box. So it's pretty difficult for the wires to really hold the shoes in place, especially that top shoe. So honestly, I had to kind of work the shoes back into the wires in the box just to sort of make them presentable and look like it was a dead stock pair in the box, to take some pictures and stuff like that and get some of the film for the video. Guys, if you're familiar with some of the early 90s Super Soakers, you will notice a lot of the features are kind of displayed on this box. Whether you've got the sort of splash that is in this bottom left corner, it says ages 0 to 99. In the opposite corner up here at the top, you've got the no batteries required emblem right there. And then in the bottom two corners of the box, you've got a Jumpman on one side, Russell Westbrook's logo on the other side. You've got a pretty sturdy handhold up here on the top of the box, right next to that very telltale orange new Super Soaker-esque logo. And then when you turn around and look at the back of the box, it says Russell Westbrook. They actually have an artist's rendering of the shoe, which looks really, really dope, very colorful. And then right here next to it, it says ZER0.3, unlimited range, high-powered action. A lot of really, really cool features that they were able to throw onto this box. I think they did a really, really cool job. And then when you actually look at the very top of the box, you see the actual logo itself. Guys, these retailed for $170 because of the box, so an extra $40 for this box right here, which is a little steep in my opinion. Retail on the other colorways has consistently been $130, but a lot of people, I think, just considering the resale, were willing to pay that $170. Guys, let's go ahead and slip these out of the box and check this pair out. There they are in hand, guys. The Jordan Why Not ZER0.3 PE in the Splash Zone colorway, or what most people are going to be referring to these as the Super Soaker colorway. These are crazy in my opinion. If you owned a Super Soaker in the 90s, you know that these neon colors really, really dominated a lot of the coloring to the different Super Soakers. They would release different models of Super Soakers. I want to say there was numbers or something like that attached to it, so the bigger the number, the more high-powered and the more costly the Super Soaker gun it was itself. I personally never owned a Super Soaker. My parents were always kind of slightly like anti-gun. They did let us play with toy guns and stuff like that, but my parents just weren't going out and shelling out 30, 40, whatever it cost for those Super Soakers. It was definitely a pretty pricey toy to have back then. I always had those cheap rinky-dink 99-cent 3-pack water guns or whatever, and my friends were tearing me up with those Super Soakers, guys. This particular colorway is most emblematic of really that Volt and neon green Super Soaker that was really just about a kind of a handheld, even though most of the Super Soakers involved your second hand for actually pumping up and creating pressure to create that crazy powerful spray, which Super Soakers were always really, really well known for. And there's at least one or two colorways that are very, very much emblematic of the colors that dominate this shoe. Also really easy to see in my head, guys, because of that sock combo that I threw with these. You'll see why if you check out that thumbnail or if you check out the on feet at the end of this video. I think this shoe is really, really dope, really clean. I really like what they did with the whole Splash Zone or Super Soaker themed colorway. But without the box, guys, these just aren't quite as significant or as special. And what's interesting about this colorway is if you go back and look at the ZER0.2s, Russell Westbrook actually had a Super Soaker PE colorway of the 2s as well. and it came in a box that was a little bit more emblematic of what you would typically see with the Super Soakers, where the Super Soaker itself wasn't enclosed by the packaging. You could actually feel it, you could touch it without having to buy it, without ripping open the packaging. The packaging on the 2s that Westbrook got, very, very much emblematic of what we saw with the Super Soaker packaging back in the day. These, it makes a little bit more sense that you'd have to enclose everything, because in shipping and things like that, you wouldn't want the shoes vulnerable and that easily accessible, a white shoe that people can sort of put their hands on or whatever in shipping. It just probably would have led to a lot of dirtied colorways of the shoe, especially considering all the white on the upper of this shoe. Speaking of white, it really dominates all the sort of mesh portions of this shoe. The mesh hits on the shoe, especially the upper portions of the mesh. It's kind of got this like honeycomb pattern. Really reminds me of what they did with the KD9s and how there was sort of this honeycomb pattern to the Flyknit weave on the 9s. I liked how it looked at first, but eventually it was pretty obvious that really all the colorways were going to be very, very similar to one another, and from that point on, fit, everything else, I just was sleeping on the KDs. Really from the 8s forward, I think I picked up one pair of 9s and that's it. I didn't really even think twice about any other colorways of the 9s. But these are slightly different. It's a little bit more of a mesh pattern than it is a weave. In some places of that mesh pattern, on the actual hexagon pods, you can actually see a little bit of sort of a volt kind of hit a green underneath that white, which gives it a little bit of pop, draws your eye to a little bit more than just all that stark white that's right there. You've got some neon green translucent hits on the actual strap itself, which are really dope. I want to say just about every strap of the Zoom 3s has been translucent in one way, shape, or form, whether it's completely clear or there's some color to it like these where you've got that neon green translucent. Then you got some really, really bright, bold hits of orange on the actual upper portions of the Velcro as well as the lower portions of the Velcro itself. The actual plastic portion where the strap doubles back, that's going to be orange as well. And then you've got a little neon green hit right there. Wherever you see Volt on the shoe, whether it's the mudguard on the toe box or this sort of little mudguard portion on the lateral portion of the sneaker, there's also a little hit on the upper two laces on both the medial and lateral portion of the sneaker. And then it comes full circle back on the booty with a little hit of Volt right there as well. Anywhere that you see that Volt, there's sort of this kind of water beading texture on top of it, which of course is supposed to be emblematic of the fact that these were a squirt gun, and whenever you got a squirt gun, whenever you have a water gun, you pretty much have some sort of condensation or just water on the gun itself. Pretty dope. One of those features that Nike and Jordan Brand really like to throw on any shoe that is emblematic of an underwater or a water themed colorway. So again, wherever you see hits of Volt, you've got these sort of little beading, almost looks like hot glue, like this sort of little clear supposed to emulate water droplets. The tongue itself is white, the laces are white. On the upper tongue pull, you've got the Jumpman logo right there. And then when you look down at the very first little lace hole, you've got Russell Westbrook's logo down there. So it's kind of interesting how they chose to pair the two. Russell Westbrook's logo is not the most prominent logo right there on the tongue. I don't know if that's sort of supposed to be emblematic of the hierarchy of Jordan Brand or whatever. That's kind of how I look at it. When you look at the back booty section of the shoe, the double pull that you find back there is going to be that bright orange as well. The sock liner is going to be neon green, and there's sort of like this mesh kind of material to the sock liner itself. Very comfortable in my opinion, and it looks dope as well. Possibly the coolest feature on this shoe, on the lateral portion, a lot of times where they've had something that's been emblematic of the colorway name, or you know, maybe some of the colors or something like that, or Russell Westbrook's logo. There is the no batteries required logo that's right there, and you got that little battery emblem that's canceled out by that sort of orange circle right there. Very, very dope little addition. The insoles themselves are orange. They've got a neon green Jumpman, and then they've got sort of like a spray of water coming out. So in my opinion, that's supposed to be emblematic of the actual front of the water gun and what's shooting out of the water gun. A pretty cool concept for a basketball sneaker. And of course, Westbrook was a 90s kid, so anything in the 90s, be it cartoons or things like this with the Super Soaker, those are things that were as iconic in Westbrook's childhood as they were in a lot of ours. So a very, very cool colorway, very cool concept. I know some people are still a little butthurt that they didn't drop the 2s, but honestly there's been a ton of crazy PEs from the 2s and the 3s that I would have loved them to have actually dropped to the public, because they've done a great job on a lot of these. As we turn and look at that outsole, you got that all clear iced out outsole with the little hit of orange hard plastic right there. Of course, you've got the sizing and style tag on the bottom of the shoe, which is something that they've done on the Westbrooks since the 2s. Very, very different. I don't think I ever remember a shoe not having the style tag behind the tongue or on the insole or somewhere around your Achilles on the shoe. Definitely very unique. The cushioning and fit on these shoes, in my opinion, very good. A lot more of a true to size shoe than a lot of what Nike basketball is offering in their player models, with the exception of maybe the LeBrons right now. This is a shoe that I would just go true to size. You don't have to size up like typically almost every other basketball shoe that's out there right now, and how narrow cut of a shoe it is. This shoe, I feel like, while it has a lot of weird lines, especially with the midsole and the outsole and stuff like that, while there's a lot of weird lines to the cut, it's a lot more of a traditional fitting shoe than most of the other options out there, guys. What do you guys think of these? Did you pick these up? Were you more excited about the packaging than the shoe itself? I guess I get that. I definitely know a couple people that description would apply to them. Let's check these things out on feet, guys. Thank you guys for rocking with me and my review. Comment, like, subscribe. Any questions, throw them down below, guys. I'll try to hit you guys back as quickly as possible. My name is Coach Nostra. I appreciate you guys. Stay blessed, fam. Peace.